What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. It's almost 7 a.m., May 15th, and I'm going to do a quick crypto analysis. I'll also take a look at the other markets as well, but let's get to Bitcoin first. All right, so first things first, on the 1 hour time frame, you know, one thing that I spoke about with the Advantage members is that we saw this bit of consolidation right here, all right, but then smashed right through it with pretty sizable volume. Okay, so this key support right here was technically broken. However, it looks like overnight, we pretty much climbed back above that area that was supposed to be previous support turned into resistance, but that didn't happen, right? So this is a good sign that we climb back up. Now, what we need to do if you want a better sign as a bull is you need to hold this area and actually keep pushing up further, all right? If, however, you start breaking down past the support again, and that support, I mean this marker right here, which is around 95.52, as you can see right there. If, however, you start breaking down past it again, chances are you might test it as resistance, and then you might start putting in a lower low, okay? Lower low than this low right here, which was around 92.04. All right, but for now, this is a slightly positive sign that we reclaim this level from it being turned into resistance and now still sitting on it as support. All right. However, as I've stated many times before, okay, in this entire trend right here, I have seen too many times at the highs right here, right here, right here, and even in this big drop after this distribution right here, okay, there's been a sizable amount of volume that has come in, excuse me, that has come in to drive the price down, okay? So even if you look over here, sizable volume at the top, sizable volume on this drop right here too, right? So it just seems to me that there's a large amount of selling happening, and I think it's sort of disguised in the idea that, all right, well, this looks like, it's a bullish momentum, it's going to push up. And so that's one thing that kind of gets me a little bit paranoid, that I think there's a lot of people who are starting to get bullish in this area. And I don't quite agree with that just yet. But again, listen, I could be totally wrong. If we start smashing up to, past 10,100 and we get past 10,500, hey, chances are we'll go to 11,000, 11,700, maybe even 12 and a half. But again, we're still kind of floating around this 9.5 area, right? And if we look at this, this particular area that was previous, consolidation, so this can now be seen as a supply block right here, okay? I mean, all we really did, right? This area was supply, dropped down from it, retested as resistance, and then smashed down, okay? So, so for the most part, you can see right now that price has again tapped back inside that area, okay, and now come back again, pulled back. Not only that, right, let's delete this right here. Not only that, let's dig into this trend line right here. Okay, so look at this trend line, right? From this wick right here, we got another touch right there, we got another touch right there, another bit of a touch, and then smashed right through. Okay, so that trend line that has sort of held us up for the last, what was it, like 4 or 5 days right here, we finally broke down through it, okay? It doesn't mean, we have to drop down from here, but this was not really the most positive sign. I'd say, I think even there's a trend line that was being developed right here. Let me see here. I think of something like this, something like that, right? This particular trend line, same way. I think it kind of tested that area of support, grinded on it, and then smashed down through it. Okay, so you could see right here in this particular area, trend lines are important. Okay, once the trend line itself is breached, that means the angular momentum that was actually in the price action has actually been tamed a little bit, right? So we can make the same argument that, okay, in this particular case, it probably wasn't a good sign that we broke through that trend line, okay? Especially given the fact that we have high volume movements, on every drop, all right? I'll check out the 4 hour, okay? So let's get rid of this one. All right, so on the 4-hour, here's something that I stated to my Advantage members. All right, so if you look at this range high right here, all right, the one thing that we can note about that range high is that, that being resistance right there, it was support right there, and then once we kind of smashed up through it, now we're using it as support again. Okay, so this is actually a good sign for the bulls that we're holding the range high as support. So chances are, at present moment, that we could push up higher. Doesn't mean we necessarily have to. Again, we have to garner enough momentum and support from this area for us to get the strength to push up higher. Until then, what this really means is, oh crap, we're just sitting on support, not doing anything with it. So then if we just sit there on support, there's only so much the demand and the bulls can do, and then this is eventually going to smash down. All right. So, there's ways to look at this from both a bullish and a bearish perspective. I'd probably say that at present moment, I am still bearish. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me that after we hit this high, even if we drop down and came back towards that same area, if we don't put in a higher high, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. All we really did was we retraced that move, and we're probably going to sort of do a bit of a double top right here and then start dumping down. Okay, but again, I'm cautiously bearish still. I don't want to be aggressively bearish because I haven't seen the confirmations for me to become aggressively bearish just yet. Let's check out the daily time frame. So here's the daily candlestick formation so far. Not too bad. I mean, it kind of looks like a hanging man so far. We still have about 12 hours to go through the rest of the day, so we'll see how it goes. Let's turn on the pivots. Okay, here's something interesting about the pivots. Again, right, we smashed up through the pivot, hit the R1 resistance. We're not able to get past the R1. Okay, so we're kind of struggling right here. Unless we smash up through this R1, I don't see any reason why we can't head back to the pivot at least again. Okay, and that's around 89, 83 as you can see. Okay, the pivot. All right. Now, last but not least, okay, one thing I want to show y'all is if we go to the daily chart right here, I'm sorry, the 3-day, okay, and let's turn on the Ichimoku cloud, okay. Here's something about the cloud, which is, again, it's somewhat of a positive sign. We bounced right at the bottom of the cloud right there, okay, just several days back, right? We went all the way down to $80, $100 or so, pressed up from it on the following candle. So, like a nice bullish engulfing. But again, right now we still have about 2 days and 13 hours left in this current candle. So anything can happen. Smash below this cloud, and we're more than likely going all the way down here around, this Kijun line right here, okay, which is around $7,100. Another way to look at the cloud is the weekly. Here's the weekly, smashing into the cloud resistance, right? Unable to get through it, okay? Now, what does it mean? All right, and I'm gonna explain this to you guys. What does it mean if we've had multiple attempts at this 10,500 level, 10.5 level again, now coming close to that 10,000 level, but then not able to get past it, okay? Well, here's the thing, all right? On the first go, all right, we had, nice short squeeze, went all the way to 10,500, right? On the next go, we put in a lower low as per this area right here, pushed up to the 10,500, again got rejected and got sent down all the way to about $3,600, right? Now we're attempting, even after taking all this liquidity and possibly new buyers and new strength from way down here, now we're attempting to push back into 10,000 again. What does it mean if we cannot get past 10,000 on this go, if we have not even, if we've garnered enough strength from new buyers, maybe some other players who've been waiting to get in for a while? Well, what does that mean? Well, technically, what that implies is that there's just not enough strength or new buyers to push through this 10,000 area resistance, even after such a significant drop. So that means at some point, If we cannot get past this, and let's just say again, if we sort of double top here on the daily and start rolling over, chances are we'll at least go down to these 6,000 or 5,000 levels, at least, in my opinion. If we garner enough strength, and let's just say, we pull down here, do some, reaccumulation, for, I don't know, a month, 2 months or something, get people bullish enough where they want to jump in on the party and they're thinking, all right, well, we're getting cheap Bitcoin. I want to ride this thing up to break through 10,000. Then that's possible. Alternatively, what could happen is what I've stated right here. Okay, if we look at this on a big daily perspective, let's look at it from the 5-day. Alternatively, what could happen is if we look at this big pitchfork, I think we could get very, very newfound strength way down here, put in a lower low, even as per this low or as per this low, and then you have basically eliminated all the buyers from here, all the buyers from way back here, and then there's going to be newfound strength in some very, very strong hodlers or strong buyers from way down here, around $2,300, $2,400. Then it's possible maybe in a year, a couple of months, we might push through that 10,500 area. But again, all that depends on what's happening in the equity side. As I've stated before, I still do believe that on the equity side, there's still a lot of uncertainty, in my opinion. You could see the ES even dropping right now. I think there's a lot of patching and fixing to do on the equity side, and I don't quite know if Bitcoin can move against the trend of equities if the equities market starts breaking down. Again, so far so good in the equity side, right? We pushed up with this big, rising wedge, broke down from it, pushed up again, kind of double top right here, and now it looks like we're kind of rolling over. Okay, so if we do put in, this high, lower high right there, and lower high again, and we start breaking this low, very high chance that Bitcoin itself takes out this low right here that we had around $8,100. Okay, because when the equities started dumping over here in this particular area, Bitcoin went from close to 10,000 all the way to about 8,100. I would not be surprised if equities dump further down and take out this low. I would probably figure that BTC is going to be ready to take out this low as well. Okay, now I don't really have a correlation data to show you that, well, if this low gets taken, then this is going to break down. That's not really the case. I'm just saying it from my own standpoint and my own opinion of how I'm looking at the markets, of how Bitcoin has fared when the equities sell off, how Bitcoin has been doing over the last several days, especially hitting the key areas of resistance like I've showed you before, and then again breaking down. Okay, so again, you can now see this marker right here, 95.52, being tested again right there. If we break down from that and if we start smashing through that, I'd probably say we're at least going to go down to the breakout high from here. So I'd probably say about 8,900 or 9,000. With this area right here, just a general trend line right there, I'd probably say once we broke up through this area, that's probably where we're going to come down to again to retest that support, and that'd be around $8,950, $9,000. Okay. If we start looking at the RSI, all right, here's the thing about the RSI now. Okay, so let's delete this and this and this. Okay, so far again, after that bearish divergence that we had, higher high right there, lower high right there, lower high right there, right? After that bearish divergence that we had, you could see, let me delete this, you could see that, we're just putting in lower highs in the RSI, right? High right there, lower high right there, and lower high right there, okay? And the RSI is still pretty high up in my opinion, okay? I probably figure, we might have maybe more grinding, more movement down, get this RSI into oversold territory, let the price action sort of cool off, let the bullish momentum and FOMO cool off, and then maybe make our way back up. Okay, so that's another way of looking at this in terms of my thought process. All right, let me see. Last but not least, I think you know, the TD sequential was giving us very interesting flashing signals of, let me see here, momentum exhaustion to the upside. You can see we printed a 13 right there, put up almost 15 candles, you know, to the upside, pulled back for 4, you know, went up for 2 or 3 more candles. And so now we need to see, all right, well, are we going to start breaking down from here? You know, I don't quite know. I mean, again, personally, I still think that we're going to break down, but I cannot definitively say that, all right, well, you know, this is the nail in the coffin, because I think the real nail in the coffin is from here, if we break inside this trading range, we start doing something like this, I think that's your short trade right there. Stop, you know, up here, and you can start targeting your target profits down here, and way down here, okay? But until then, like I said, I still think the momentum is on the bull side, and I think it's up to the bears in the smaller time frames like this area right here to prove that they can pressure the price down, okay? The bulls actually have to prove also that they can pressure the price past this point. Until then, you know, I still do believe that the overall trend still goes towards the bears, that we've moved up a lot for the last, you know, month or two. We've come to a point of exhaustion to the upside. There's a lot of sellers waiting in the market. I've also shown you guys that on this particular article, you know, it shows that post-Bitcoin halving, miners have dumped a lot more Bitcoin than before. All right. Here's another thing from Glassnode Insights. You guys should check this out. This is a very good newsletter. If you look down here, right, this was something really interesting. Overall, you know, after mostly positive developments in the GNI through Q1, it has experienced a small pullback solely due to sentiment taking a hit in the days before the halving. While the on-chain fundamentals are still strong in the long term, the halving is likely priced in, and it might be too soon to expect bullish price action into the summer. Okay, so again, I mean, this is not, you know, me writing this or me telling you this. This is, you know, other smart people who are looking at the on-chain activity, looking at the hash rate, looking at the miner data, and they're telling you what I'm seeing in the price action. Also, this is telling you what's happening behind the scenes of the miners selling. All right, so aside from price, aside from me, what I do for you guys in terms of looking at the price action activity, there's a lot of underlying data that is showing you that, hey, maybe, you know, the price is topped off. It just doesn't seem like, you know, we're going to head up from here. Okay, so those are kind of my thoughts. All right, again, the ES, you know, kind of dumped overnight. I don't know if there's going to be some sort of big event or news coming out in the next few days, but it seems like the market is trying to price in something. I can't figure out what it is. I have an inclination that it might be something related to China, because I know everyone keeps talking about how the US wants to cut off their relationships and their ties maybe with China. I know Trump announced it recently, and the markets don't like that kind of activity, that kind of uncertainty, and the potential, you know, trade war or trade tariffs again, like we did in 2018. So this tweet right here was really interesting. You know, if the U.S. starts going after Chinese companies, the Chinese companies are going to go after the U.S. companies. It's just a whole shit show, you know. Let me see here. This is another thing that I thought was really interesting, is retailer activity has just been, you know, going bonkers, I think, right? I think for the most part, the people who will probably feel the most pain over the next several months, if the market dumps, I really think it's going to be the retailers, okay? I don't think people realize the kind of valuations that we have in the equity side. And I think people also don't understand the kind of, you know, high priced, you know, asset that Bitcoin is at present moment. For what it does, right? Again, in my opinion, I think it could be priced much lower based on its, you know, current adoption rate, based on its utility. I think it could be priced much lower and still be fine. And so I think people who are expecting more bullish price action, they're not really looking at the fundamentals. All they care about is, you know, hey, we just want the price and the number to go up. But in fact, you know, if you really want Bitcoin to survive for the long term, if you really want, you know, those 5, 10x, 100x gain potentials, you may want to wait and play the longer game, which is that it's possible that Bitcoin comes down to $2,000, $3,000, maybe $1,500. and that could be your entry point. Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much it. I think I pretty much answered most of the analysis questions. Check out the Bollinger Bands right there. This is a pretty good way to look at the Bollinger Bands too. We bounce out the middle band right there. Again, Bollinger Bands are simply, a way of measuring volatility. You can see bounce out the middle band right there, pushed up towards the high of the band, but again, lower high, right? Close, but no cigar. Okay, so I'm still expecting a rollover into the price action, but I'm also careful never to doubt the bulls. All right, that's it. Y'all take care. Have a good rest of the day, and I'll catch up with you soon. All right, come join Advantage. Give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment of your thoughts. Cheers.